go.
Wow.
Welcome into a Friday edition here on January 14th.
They're not going to know what they're looking at.
Hell yeah, man. Good job,
Thought
Lizzie.
you'd call first.
That's right. Friday show, we are jam-packed. Looking forward to it. Like and share. Thank you for starting your day with us. Daily, we're driven by Go Chevrolet, powered by Go Chevrolet. Our good friends are over in LaPlace, Louisiana, also down here in Baton Rouge at Go Express Auto Sales. Check out Nick Richard, Lee Carney, the entire crew at Go Express Auto Sales here in Baton Rouge and Go Chevrolet. Daily, we're brought to you by Papa Earl's, Metropolitan Health Group, True Blue Water, as we have Joey Molinaro, who just announced he is out at Barstool, going to leave Barstool, going out. We'll see what's next with Molinaro. We'll also get a couple of impersonations from our guy before we get out of here at 9 a.m. this morning. We will also talk to Representative John Stefanski from Crowley, Louisiana, down your way in the 337.
Back to the 337.
Absolutely, as he will be in here talking mobile gambling. Gambling, as we know, is legal in the state of Louisiana, but just a little bit of the politics and parameters from Stefanski coming up here at 7:30 this morning. 8 a.m., Gordon McKernan's in studio with us. He'll be talking NIL, as he will tell us the latest on Keyshawn Booty, kind of how he sees NIL and what effect he can have on college sports with name, image, and likeness contracts down here in Baton Rouge concerning LSU athletes. And Nathan Velasquez giving us the latest on Alec Baldwin here at 8:30 this morning. Is more Baldwin crazy, bro? As he made some video from his front seat of his car talking about some splendid packet that a fan sent out. I don't know, man. It's tough to watch. Get inside of the chat app. We appreciate you being there over at YouTube. Like, share. Mikey Matuk, the next time you see Mic'd Up, the next time you see Mikey Matuk here on the FM Digital Media Network, he will be a part of his own show, Mic'd Up, on Monday. He is debuting and launching. We got a huge piece of equipment in last night for Mic'd Up.
Huge piece. Huge.
Big piece. Secret piece.
Yeah, I love it.
Could be the piece that throws Mic'd Up over the top on their maiden voyage coming up on Monday from 11 to 1 on the podcast.
Come here,
YouTube.
Gosman, and talk about how he got real rich.
Kevin Gosman will be talking about the $100 million contract. Lots to get to here. LSU basketball
here in front of us.
And LSU football with a ton of news over the last 24 hours. A flurry of news since we talked to Shea Dixon yesterday morning, and we'll start there. As I was on with an Arkansas radio station this morning, ESPN radio up in Fayetteville, and they were obviously talking about a couple of the guys that are leaving Arkansas's defensive backfield, and Joe Fauché and Greg Brooks, two Louisiana natives coming back home to LSU to be a part of DBU. And their first question was, do you think these guys can have an impact? I was like, fellas, they ain't got a choice. I mean, like, they're the only ones in the room right now. So, I mean, you're starting to see this roster overhaul from Brian Kelly. And then somebody who we've talked about a little bit here on this show, Noah Cain, the running back out of Penn State, former Baton Rouge native, is officially made it official yesterday on social media as he's coming home to LSU.
Bring him back to Louisiana boys, man. These guys that they want to come, they want to be here. They want to come here. They want to be here. They want to be a part of this, and that's a big piece of it. You know, you don't want someone that just wants to play football. I mean, yeah, it's great, but you want somebody that really wants to be here, and that means a little bit more to them. And I think that's what you're kind of seeing.
Yeah, we are definitely starting to see what is happening with LSU in the transfer portal. As that was something that Major Burns was referring to earlier this week, as he was here watching the national championship game watch party with us. And he mentioned that LSU is about to start doing work in the portal. And over the last 48 hours, like we said, I mean, it has been just announcement after announcement. As we mentioned Arkansas's DBs, Greg Brooks and Joe Fauché, both guys that are from Louisiana, coming home. And then Noah Cain, who was very highly recruited coming out of IMG Academy in high school, ended up signing with Penn State. He had LSU as a finalist during his recruitment, but ultimately chose the Nittany Lions, and now coming home to Frank Wilson and LSU after a season in Happy Valley. So it'll be interesting to see. That is now, it feels like an NFL running back room now. I mean, it feels like you've got a legitimate pro running back room when you talk about John Emery now being back, and by all accounts, and speaking to some people in and around the program and talking a little bit to Wilson, Emery is like bought in, going to class,
I love that.
going to workouts, all, like in a great headspace going into this offseason. So, I mean, you would think he would be the leader in that running back room, at least as far as reps go, or at least, kind of thinking what the rep load would look like. You would think that John Emery would be the leader right there in that room. And then, obviously, Corey Kiner played a lot of football this season. Armani Goodwin played a lot of football this season. You have, Noah Cain coming in here, who has played a lot of high-level football for Penn State. So it is going to be incredible to see the competition in that room and how fast they have turned that around. But that's Frank Wilson. I mean, that's kind of
Uncle Frank, baby.
That's what
Uncle
you get.
Frank.
Uncle Frank.
Uncle Frank.
That's
Frank
what you
coming
get.
through here.
Yeah.
Love that.
Family, Uncle Frank. Thank you. Thank you. Ties on.
Stuff looks good, man.
It
Shout out
does.
to
Looks
Ryan
sharp.
Golden, our guy, man, the Golden Goose. And then LSU women's basketball last night. How about that, man?
Keep on trucking, dude.
87-85, overcome adversity, kind of bounce back. Pointer, your leading scorer with 21 last night. I mean, LSU women's basketball 16-2 right now and 4-1 in conference play in year one under Kim Mulkey. Congratulations to the ladies after another successful night out. It wasn't. I'm sure it wasn't the way that Mulkey had seen that one going. Missouri, a very tough opponent coming into Baton Rouge, but LSU able to hang on at the end and fight through some stuff and get the win 87-85 last night at the Maravich Center and improve, like we said, to 16-2 on the season and 4-1 in conference play. It's incredible to see the impact that she's had in year one. I don't know if we should be surprised. I don't know if I am surprised, but now that you're in it, like while you're a part of it and watching it, it just really is kind of incredible to see the turnaround in one season.
And you've talked about it a lot. I mean, coaching obviously matters. Yeah. You know what I mean? She's gone there and she's put in her system, the way she wants to run the program, and she's brought people in who can run that and can be part of. Look at you.
It took me a second, but look at
you.
Come on.
Give
We're
Lizzie,
taking
give
strides
her a
here,
little
man.
pat on the back right there.
Tinkering over here, tinkering.
I
Dude.
love that.
Strides.
But no, she brought these players in that wanted to buy in, and they have all completely bought in, and now she is bringing energy to the women's basketball program again. And I mean, obviously when you win it helps, but it's hard to win. Obviously, we've seen that over the last couple of years, and she's doing an unbelievable job.
It's very similar to
I'm scared of her, to be honest.
It's very similar to what Brian Kelly is doing to the LSU football program. When you look at what Kim Mulkey has done to LSU women's basketball in just year one, very similar to what Will Wade did to LSU basketball, very similar to what looks like what Jay Johnson is trying to do, which we'll get to Jay Johnson and LSU baseball here coming up in a couple of minutes, as they've had some names pop up on some award lists here in the preseason that you're going to be watching out for, man.
Wow.
Huge sophomore class. But we'll talk about Johnson and LSU baseball, obviously, with the former great Matuk here coming up in a couple of minutes. But LSU women's basketball, what Kim Mulkey was able to do to the roster, very similar to what Will Wade did to his first roster when he got here, where he totally overhauled it, brought in 7 new players, whether it was transfers or freshmen or guys that he had had contact and relationships with. He made that year one team competitive. Mulkey did the same thing in just trying to reach into her bag of tricks and bringing in players like Alexis Morris and Hannah Gusters, who we've talked about a couple of times, and other players who have now fit in. That's what Brian Kelly's having to do with the football program. I mean, you know, they may not be the names that we were familiar with in recruiting, but these are names of guys that are prideful about LSU, the state of Louisiana, and being here right now. And look, man, as somebody who had relationships inside of LSU football under the former regime and felt like I was able to get some information, I don't think that people even within knew how bad it was. And once Ogeron and that crew was out of the building and you were able to kind of fumigate the wake left behind of not only but a collection of some of the end of Les Miles and all of that kind of bundled up into LSU football, into this big bag of BS that you had to crawl in there and say, man, you're going to have to roll your sleeves up and get like dirty. You're going to have to get grimy and get some, whether it's people or procedures, changed in LSU football. And it's not only in the locker room, and it's not only in the administrative side. It's in both. And that's what we're witnessing right now. And football is such a grander scale, right? When Wade was doing it 5 years ago, it was 7 players.
Yep.
When Mulkey was doing it 6 months ago, it was 4 players. When Kelly has to do it here in the present, it's like 25, 35 guys. It's stuff that you're going to have to pay attention to because, like I said, when the guys from Arkansas asked me this morning on ESPN Fayetteville, is Brooks and Fauché going to have an impact? I'm like, fellas, they're starting day one. I mean, they don't have anybody else. I mean, they're.
How do they feel about those guys going?
Well, they think that it ratchets up the rivalry a little bit. You know what I mean? It makes it a little bit more. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like those guys will be talking about it inside the building, and they'll probably be rallying their teammates. But I mean, am I wrong? I mean, I'm trying to find who's going to play. I mean, I don't know much about Joe Fauché. I don't know much about Greg Brooks. But I do know this. I mean, like, I don't know where there's anybody else. I don't know where the other players are.
They're better than what we've got.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you have to think, right? They had to go get – if you were a starter at an SEC school, and you would imagine Arkansas's defense was pretty salty last year. Like, they had players – right. And LSU, what do they need most? They need players. So if you can go get 2-3-year starters essentially from Arkansas, experienced guys that are from Louisiana. The Louisiana thing, Uncle Frank, how is this possible to do this in such short of amount of time? It makes you wonder just like how long this has been on his mind and how much he can go into like the salesman pitch of Louisiana. Like this is what he should have been doing all along. I appreciate him going to be a head coach and trying the McNeese thing. But, Frank, LSU is home, baby. This is where you thrive. Look at what you've done so quickly. And I don't know what time the Arkansas people start that show because it was early when we got here. But they have to be a little bit nervous that they all thought they had a kind of maybe a little pipeline to New Orleans kids or Louisiana kids.
Yeah,
that thing's been shut down.
Well, I think everybody in the conference recognizes with Frank Wilson at LSU that the gate to New Orleans is now like 10 feet higher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're going to have to find somebody that can get over the wall because, I mean, Frank's just sitting back there and he's got everybody eating out of his hand. And, not only just the city of New Orleans, really the state of Louisiana, but even Wilson to a degree, and this isn't, I think even he has been a little like, wow, it's incredible how much times have changed in just the 5 years that he's been gone, right? I mean, like, I guess 7 years since he's been gone, since 2015. But
that's when Frank left?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I mean, feel like it's been that long.
Head coach Texas San Antonio and McNeese since he left. I mean, it was him and Leonard left together ultimately.
Wow.
They came in together and left together.
Yeah.
Or I think Leonard played a year without him. He played a year with Jabbar Jalouk and
that's when it kind of got sideways.
Yeah, that's when it kind of got weird.
Weird.
But the transfer portal, I mean, it really allows Brian Kelly to, kind of expedite this process.
Absolutely.
But it also doesn't want to always put you in emergency mode because I think the one thing that LSU, the thing about LSU and where they are that's so, concerning or even like if you're a fan, I mean, it's kind of a punch to the gut is that it was time for LSU to take the step and overhaul, right? Like, I mean, they needed to do it. They had to do it. If they wouldn't have done it, it would have done it itself. I mean, just look at the numbers and where they are. But it's the fact that your competition is getting better.
Yeah.
They're improving while you're trying to restructure.
But that's always going to be the case. I mean, there's never going to be a good time to do it. You know what I mean? And we got to the point where if we're not going to do it, like you said, it's going to happen itself. And if it happens itself, then we are in a hole that it takes a few years to dig out.
Yeah.
You can't just go in the transfer portal. If we allow it to happen naturally without making the move when we made the move, then the transfer portal is not going to help you. You're not going to have enough. You're going to need 3 years of the transfer portal. You need you're gonna have multiple seasons of uphill battles. This year, yeah, it may be a little bit of an uphill battle, but it's not much. It's not really much of a hill. It's kind of like just a little bump. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you go and you fill out this roster, and we're getting some talented guys that have experience playing Division I college football to come in right now and play. It's not like you have to go to the JUCO ranks where these guys still haven't played Division. Like we've gotten guys from the SEC West. We've gotten guys from ULL who are All-Americans or All-Conference players. We've gotten the number 1 tackle in the country. We've gotten a high-ranking running back. Like we're getting guys that are going to make immediate impacts that are going to be able to allow us to go in next year and compete and play well and possibly shock some people.
What do you say is far behind maybe LSU was with NIL, and we'll probably get to that with Gordon McKernan when he comes in, but they've been kind of in lockstep with the transfer portal when you saw how they were able – you can trace it back to Cole Tracy and Joe Burrow. So they've always dabbled in these waters, and they kind of understand that space. So for them now, I don't think anybody really saw, even though the distinction was clear, how you could draw the line from name, image, and likeness to the transfer portal. Like, it didn't just have to be incoming kids.
Right,
and
exactly.
So LSU was in the transfer portal game late to the NIL party, but now you can kind of marry those two. And when you have a guy like Frank Wilson that you can kind of don't really have to sell NIL just yet. You can just sell them on Family and Home in Louisiana, and then you can start building family back to NIL. Like, you can bridge that gap a little bit. LSU's been able to bring in talent that way without really having to do NIL yet.
I think – honest, and this is going to sound a little crazy, but honestly, I think this is best case if LSU's going to hire a new coach. They're obviously not going to hire a guy when everything's perfect. So I think for Brian Kelly, this is best case scenario is saying, hey, you know what? I have a blank canvas where I can just go ahead and sign whoever I want and be able to find these guys that aren't just recruits but transfers and have basically just saying I have all these positions that I can go and I have an unlimited amount of people to look at. And I think for him, he can just bring in the guys he wants and bring in as many guys as he wants.
Remember, Daily, we're brought to you by Edward Jones, Daniel Newman, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. You can get in touch with him there by simply emailing, or if you want to stop by tomorrow at the Tailgate, you should do that. We'll crank it up at around 10:30 tomorrow morning over in lot 105. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones is going to be out there until tip-off at 1 o'clock for LSU and Arkansas in basketball. But as we said, we'll be making our way through there at some point. We'll have people out there, but it'll be good to everybody to get together for a tailgate tomorrow in lot 105. Edward Jones, Daniel Newman, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com is where you can email him. It's easy to find him there, and he'll get right back to you if you need any financial advice, if you need anything or questions that you may have about your 401k, about investments. Get in touch with Daniel Newman. He's been great for us, man. Easy to work with. Daniel.Newman@edwardjones.com is how you email him and get your questions answered immediately this morning. And remember, if you work in the plant industry, if you work in and around Dow, BASF, Exxon, and you have questions about your 401k, you have questions about anything fiscally there within the plant industry about how Daniel can help you out. He is a master in that field, man. He has helped a lot of people out in that field. Save money, make money, invest very wisely. He understands a lot of the financial structures within that industry and can help you with any questions that you may have. Get in touch with Daniel Newman, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com, and hope to see everybody tomorrow in lot 105. Be cranking up around 10:30 tomorrow morning before the 1 o'clock tip-off.
Fired up for Spider-Man,
between LSU and Arkansas. Fired up about Spider-Man.
Yeah, I want to go see it.
I do too.
I want to see it.
Bad planning on Dad's part with the time. And
I've just never tailgated for Spider-Man, so I'm excited to see how that works for you. I mean, I guess I have in a different sense relief, man. Thank you.
I will. I guess I'll show up in my webbed outfit.
Are you gonna be on the phone watching the game?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
With a little Spider-Man soundtrack.
I should just make an audible and say, you know what, we're going to rent this for an extra couple hours and just put the game on the big screen.
Coach, that would be the play.
Hey.
I know a guy.
Be the play.
I know a guy. If they got an HDMI cord.
I got a guy.
Y'all do. Can we do the sharing, the screen sharing?
Yeah. Sure. Let me screen mirror this thing.
Apple TV up here. No, how about that?
But we will be there in the morning. I will be there in the morning. I don't know how close to tip off at 12:30 the birthday party starts. So I know tip-off's at 1 o'clock, but with the 10:30 tailgate, hopefully I can get there around 10:30 and stay about 11:30, about till noon, and then cut out of there for about the last hour before the tip-off. But Daniel Newman, looking forward to that. He had a great idea. We were supposed to do it at LSU, Tennessee. Thought it was going to rain. Rain actually held off, but tomorrow should be a beautiful day with LSU basketball. And look, man, it should be another rowdy and raucous environment inside the Maravich Center with Arkansas in town. So,
is this what you wanted?
Wow, look at this guy.
He's
bro.
showing off now. He's playing. He's playing with his new toys.
I love it, man.
His new toys. I love it.
It does look great. How's how we holding up over there? How's our horsepower?
We're only on, just full disclosure, we're only on YouTube right now. I don't want to put. So little Jimmy's got to go. You know, she's only working as hard as she can. So only on YouTube today. We'll be able to figure out over the weekend when we can get to Facebook and the JordyCulottaShow.com.
This is a special day for us, as we will always remember January 14th for the really forever. This was a year ago today. Was the day that my relationship ended with my former employee, and really kind of set this project to sail with the Jordy Culotta Show that is now budded into FM digital media. With more shows on the horizon, like Mic'd Up, which we will debut. It's really our first show, which we are very proud of and very fired up for. Obviously, it's Matuk's first show, but for FM digital media, it will always live on as the first show that was cultivated in-house and kind of promoted and published and produced in-house.
Y'all come support us so we don't tank it, okay?
And, yeah, that's right. And we do. We need your support.
Yeah.
But that has been the great part about this has been everybody's support. Everybody who has watched, who has clicked in, and some of the analytics that we have after the first year of being in this. And it hadn't been a year. Today's been a year really that I lost my job at Guarantee. And got over here, and we really started this process at the end of January, like January 29th, I believe, was the launch date of the Jordy Culotta Show. But here we are a year later, kind of flying the plane by ourselves and going out on our own with FM digital media, and just wanted to say how much it's meant to everybody over here as the team has grown to a bigger number, but how much we appreciate everybody starting their day with us, following us on social media. We hit 10,000 followers on Twitter yesterday. Which shout out
thank y'all
to our
Jackie
boy
and
Jack and Noah and everybody with our social media team. Katie has continued to really push that. We've had help behind the scenes from people like Vishal, and Mikey has been instrumental in our growth and coming in every day and really kind of developing his chops, and now he's ready to go out and fly his own plane. So
gotta let the peacock fly.
I really just invited myself. I saw
you always need someone to do that.
When your job was what mine was, it was a lot of spending time on Twitter. And I saw the news, and I was like, let me fire off a text real quick. I hope this isn't uncouth. And then I had our boy Still Henry hit me up. He's like, dude, shoot a text, see what's up. So Jordy was, I don't want to say reluctant, but I would say probably reluctant now. But here we are, dude.
No, not at all. It has worked out, man. I had to have my sidekick. I had to have somebody who I could bounce it off of, man, and we could fly this thing together, a co-pilot.
Somebody can throw a couple F-bombs at you.
Yeah,
right. We'll take
right.
it right back. Here
Absolutely.
we go, dude. It's exciting.
It is. It has been. It's been awesome, man. And I just want to say to everybody out there how much we appreciate it, and how bright the future is, and how much more stuff that we have coming, how many more ideas. You've seen the watch room. And some of the stuff that we'll be doing with players and former players and people in there watching, whether it be NFL playoff games or road college basketball games or March Madness. It'll be something for everybody, really, over here at FM Digital Media. So thanks for everything after the first year, man. We got a lot more show. In fact, Representative John Stefanski's trying to find the place, so give me a minute to reset.
You can find the other one.
Yeah, let him get into. let me get him here, and we'll get him talking about mobile betting. In fact, I just saw somebody talk about, Jordy, you need an app from Dwayne Official, and we've talked to our guys over at Nevada's, my guy Randall Knockman, about how we can develop stuff like that, like an app where you can just download it to your smart device and go over there and get everything. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back as we'll have Representative John Stefanski in. Let me get him to the studio, and we'll be talking gambling, mobile betting, and everything on the horizon for the state of Louisiana.
Show some more cool graphics.
I got one more.
Yeah, dance for me, clown.
Dance. Make me a bicycle, clown. I don't know how to do a bicycle.
Boom.
Yeah. If I figure this out, watch out. Might have to go to the table.
Do you have questions about your finances? Are you looking for recommendations from a skilled financial advisor? Get in touch with our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. You can find him easily by logging online and shooting him an email at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. That is daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Whether it is help with your 401k or just fiscal advice heading into the new season, get in touch with Daniel today. Best way to do it? Email him, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. He's our experienced financial advisor. Let him be yours, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Hebert's Specialty Meats, home to the finest boudin in South Louisiana. 2 spots right here in Baton Rouge and out in Prairieville. Stop in and see them in the Dutchtown Shopping Center on Highway 73 or right here in Baton Rouge on Jefferson Highway. Online, hebertsmarkets.com, and they're all over social media. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Instagram. Heberts combines perfect seasoning. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Hebert over at Hebert's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022, 225-485-8022 is where you can find Hebert's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Welcome back on this Friday morning, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet over here on the Jordy Culotta Show, a part of FM Digital Media. We'll be talking to Representative John Stefanski, who is in charge of redistricting, which is an incredible task for a politician in the state of Louisiana. We'll ask him about some of those stresses over the last couple of days as he's making his way. He's about a mile away. I gave him the wrong address.
Oh, did you?
Of the new studio. Yeah.
Wow.
That's my fault.
Was it a little mathlexia?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was backward numbers.
Yeah,
same numbers, just different order?
Yeah. What, 4821.
Let everybody know.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the wrong ones.
See if you can crack that code.
Unscramble that.
We'll give you 2 tickets to the women's basketball game.
That's right. Women's basketball roll last night, or not roll, they get the win 87-85 in overtime. Kim Mulkey with a really cool post-game press conference with her ladies, Kayla Pointer and Alexis Morris, 2 of her leading scorers last night. Watch yourself there, Lizzie.
Nope, here we go.
But as we said, Mulkey and the crew are
here we go. Bobster, you're up. Here we go.
16-2 right now on the season after last night's win. Noah Kane transferring in, former running back over at Penn State. Another little energizer boost for Brian Kelly's offense here in the offseason. We talked a little bit about that. We're going to talk to Joey Molinaro coming up in the second hour as well about what's next for him as his life over at Barstool came to an end earlier this week.
Well, I've seen some people concerned about if LSU even needed a running back in this class because they're concerned about the numbers. But LSU has to fill how many spots did Shea say? Did he say it was like 32 spots that LSU could possibly fill? So I think that LSU has more room than people realize. Like this is a good thing.
We only had 39 spots.
We only had 30. Yeah, you got to realize how much.
We're not gonna have 85.
I don't think people.
It's gonna take them probably 2 years.
Yeah, we're gonna get to 85 this year.
Right. So this is a perfectly normal, and I would say you should be excited about this kid. He is when he's right and healthy, Noah Kane could be an every down. Like the combination of Noah Kane and John Emery is probably a little bit better than what you have with Ty Davis Price and the possibility of John Emery.
Well, especially if John
Noah Cain's a player.
Especially if John Emery's bought in and he's on the field and he's doing things and he's maybe that year off of not playing kind of like lit a fire in his ass on the field. Say, you know what, I got the little things that I maybe didn't get me on the field is going to keep me on the field this time.
Well, the NFL is not going to find you. You have to find, excuse me, the NFL is going to find you. You can't find the NFL.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's not just going to show up on your doorstep one day.
No. I mean,
right? Like you got to go out there and you got to go make it worth their while.
Especially as a running back.
Absolutely.
Because running back, they have the stigma of you can find running backs anywhere to go out in the NFL and produce. And I'm not saying that's the case, but that's kind of been the reputation of that position. And so if you're not doing the little things, if you're not able to pick up blitz packages, you're not protect your quarterback, you can't pick up the schemes, then they're going to find someone who can. So like you said, you have to be able to show them that you can do that, and they're going to come out and get you.
GoFlow IV Health and Spa brings you the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, over at GoFlow, go get ready for the weekend over there as they can get you set up. Speaking of a little energy boost, they can help you out with GoFlow. GoFlowIV.com. That is GoFlowIV.com, Baton Rouge's premier medical spa, specializing in IV hydration treatments with vitamin infusion. They're located at 7970 Jefferson Highway. They can help you with things like chronic dehydration, if you're looking to boost your athletic performance with replenishing your electrolytes and vitamins after your workout, you can do that over at GoFlow, GoFlowIV.com, GoFlowIV.com, 7970 Jefferson Highway. Easy to find them online at GEAUX, FlowIV.com, and tell them you heard it right here on the Jordy Culotta Show.
Perfect day to do it, too. Before the tailgate. Get yourself a little get yourself a little hydrated to go to the tailgate, go to the LSU basketball game. Day drinking? Well, dude, that'd be funny you mentioned that. I brought Sean to his first, I think, LSU basketball game since, 2007. Since Florida was good.
Did it get him? Did he eat him up?
And we didn't know what to do. He was like, I'm used to, all day for an LSU football game and trying to prepare. It's like, no, this is a blitz.
That's why it's great.
Yeah, but you still have to do some of the things that you would do for an LSU football game. You can't go in there dry. You got to do some of the things. There's a little pregame involved, but it's not an all-day affair.
I've never pregamed for a basketball game.
Oh, you have to. But it's not the same pregame, but a little pregame, just to get your mind right, get you ready to go in there.
It's like you go there. It's a 2.5 hour deal where you show up.
It's a blitzkrieg.
It is.
It's awesome.
It's a great.
It's a movie.
It's a great time. It is. It's a movie.
You can move around. You can see people. It's great. It is great. I love it.
Yeah, but if you could figure it out, and I think a lot of LSU fans are probably going through this now, where they don't really know how to do it because it's been a few years since LSU has been this good. They've had a good run, but now people are bought in and want to go to the game. So there's a way to tailgate LSU basketball. Don't you worry.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt, and it is becoming almost like a social scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's becoming like a football game almost.
That's what I'm saying.
Where
He didn't know what to compare it to.
People go to be seen almost,
Yep.
and people show up on local nights that are usually reserved for date night and family night. You're starting to see those types of things happen at the basketball game.
Yep.
I mean, I saw it firsthand last night at Tennessee. That was the thing that stuck out to me, was that people were dressed up to be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was almost like an event.
Yep.
More than anything. And I think, even tomorrow, if you play at 1 o'clock in the middle of a Saturday,
people want to go.
That's going to be a beautiful Saturday of sunshine and blue skies. It's going to be 10,000 strong in there. I was thinking about bringing little Jay and the crew to us. I don't know if we can get that amount of tickets.
I know. Well, so Allie,
I don't know if we could walk up and grab that many tickets.
Allie was like, should we just get the top level section and just go out there and just go? And I'm like, we'll do that if you want.
The celebrities are.
2 tickets are fine.
You need tickets?
Yeah, we have 4 people though. So I have me and Allie. I can get 2. It's just trying to get the 4 together is tough. You need one more?
I need one more.
Okay.
We can do that.
We'll work on this.
We'll work on it.
Tailgate, bro.
It's awesome. And that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's everybody coming. It's so cool that it's that. I guess Will Wade put it best. If LSU is a winner, or purple and gold, anybody in purple gold that wins, Baton Rouge will come out to support. It's become very evident.
Here's the deal.
1 o'clock on a Saturday, we're there.
Here's the best thing about the 1 o'clock on Saturday. 1 o'clock on Saturday, the game's gonna end around 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You keep that.
Yeah, you keep
energy.
that momentum going.
Go home. The Bengals play at 3:30, baby.
Straight to a live stream.
Wow. Should.
You just keep that energy
Straight to a
going.
live stream.
And then you got the Bills Patriots.
Absolutely.
You got two monster NFL games on
Bills and
Saturday
Patriots.
after a monster basketball game. What a
Huge
what a
sports
Saturday.
weekend.
There he is, Captain
There
America.
he is.
Yes, indeed.
He's
My
here.
fault on the address. Captain America is here. Representative John Stefanski, the man who is in charge of redistricting, also going to give us a little knowledge on mobile sports betting. Let us reset the studio here real quick, and we will have Representative Stefanski, Captain America, in with us next here on Jordy Culotta Show.
Can't get bigger. Yeah, yeah, you still look good. Just maintaining over there. He looks good. He looks good.
Good, man. How you been? Been okay?
Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU bluewater.com. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet here on this Friday morning as we spend a couple of minutes with Representative John Stefanski. Gordon McKernan going to be in studio next as we'll be talking name, image, and likeness. Keyshawn Booty, we'll be talking other deals and how Gordon sees that area of college sports really kind of evolving and how he can affect it or boosters can affect it. But now we are joined by one of our favorites, State Representative John Stefanski out of District 42. Also in charge of redistricting, which we always kind of knew was a cool task in title, but once you had to roll your sleeves up and really start the process, that was probably going to suck. I think he is in those days right now, and he can give us the latest on sports gambling, obviously, whether from a mobile standpoint and what's going on with it. It's good to see you, bro.
Yeah,
good morning.
Good to see you too, man. The new digs.
Thank you.
You know, so I hadn't been on since y'all moved, yes. And I'm glad I still get the invite because this feels much more exclusive.
Day one, Stefanski's a day one guy. He was a UDLer, bro. Like, and he would show up when called. It was always he was great, man. So. Yeah, open invite now. I think we're a little closer to you now.
Yes, y'all are much closer to me, and
yeah.
And congrats, and you know, still a big fan, as I've continued to say, and you know, awesome success, and wishing you the best, man, for sure. But thanks for having me back on. This is
absolutely
cool.
It is it's good to have you back, and it is good to see you again. And I know that you are extremely busy. Before we get to sports gambling, which I know that you know all of our audience is curious about, what is life like for you right now?
Life is rough. I got to be honest, man. Well, I mean, look, I can't complain. I'm healthy, and friends and family and everybody's good, so I always keep things in perspective. But I mean, some long days. I'm in the middle of doing all the redistricting. You know, kind of little recap for those who don't know a lot about it. We're responsible every 10 years after we get the census for redrawing the House districts, the Senate districts, the Public Service Commission, Bessie, the courts, and then the big one that everybody is interested in and has dominated a lot of the conversation, Congress. You know, which a lot of people inside the state, outside the state are interested in that. A lot of members and all this stuff, and so just a lot. It's a lot of work trying to prepare for this. We have a special session that starts on February the 1st, so we'll have basically 20 days to accomplish all of those maps getting redrawn. And in preparation for that, as you can imagine, there are a lot of people you have to talk to. There's a lot of meetings you have to have. It's just an exhaustive process that you know, so yeah, I'm tired. I'm tired, and it's been some long days, but it's good. It's part of the process. I took the job, you know, and so I never like to complain too much. I asked for this in the end, and so but it's a lot.
What's it like traveling the state? What are you
cool.
picking up in that process? I'd imagine that is a cool part of it.
Yeah. So think about Louisiana. You know, I mean, you know this state. We all know this state. We live here. This is where we work. Families from here. But I mean, how often do you take the time to actually travel around the state, especially in a year?
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what we did. We started in Monroe, went to Shreveport, went to Alexandria, went to Lake Charles, went to Lafayette, went to Houma, we had one in Baton Rouge, we had one on the North Shore in Covington, and then we had one in New Orleans. Oh, and one in Thibodaux. And so 9 different venues across the state where it was basically, hey, we're going to give you a presentation about what the numbers are and what this state looks like, but you tell us, public, what you want to see. And so we heard the majority of those meetings were the public just saying, I want Congress to look like this, I want the House to look like this, or you should be drawing districts that look like this. A lot of public input. That was great. You know, it was helpful. You know, I mean, that the point of that road show was to educate the public in those geographic areas, but really was to hear from them. What do you want these districts to look like? Because you know, I continue to say we would be misguided if the legislature just said, "Oh, we have this. Don't worry."
Sure.
You know, it really is. The public has to feel like they were part of the process. They are a part of the process, look, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a representative. I represent my area. I represent this state, and you want to know what people want, and you want to try to go to the best of your ability, enact the will of the people.
Head of redistricting in the state of Louisiana right now, which is a hell of a task. Representative John Stefanski from District 42 joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. He goes by Captain America here when he shows up. A lot of people always, when I think our relationship started on air with you kind of educating people on sports gambling, and this one was going through the process of legislation. Now that it's been legalized and we've started to see sports gaming pop up around the state, how has it affected it, and what's next for that bill?
So I would say, you know, the demand that when we were talking early on about the bill and about what it would mean for Louisiana, you know, that push from people in the state saying we want this, it has been justified by the numbers we saw, you know, so around $30 million in total bets in November. We're waiting to hear what December is going to be. December is going to be, I would say, double that for a number of reasons. Primarily, we had a trickle effect with the casinos and the licenses that were coming online in November. We started with 2, then it expanded to 4, and now we're at a point, you know, we had 20 total licenses. So the potential for 20 different venues to have sports betting in Louisiana originally. And now we're seeing, I think 18 out of those 20 are exercising that. And so I think the December numbers are going to be huge. You know, look, people wanted it. It's evident. And then now that second element, you know, when we passed the bill, we said it can be done either at a land-based or casino or a racetrack, or we passed the ability for mobile betting. You know, and everybody's waiting for mobile betting. Yes. Mobile betting, as we talked since the beginning, is really, if you want any realistic chance of kind of tapping into that illegal market and trying to push those people out and come to a legitimate, a legitimate site that is regulated. And then also that the state has the ability to be able to benefit from as well, you know, and our locals have to be able to benefit from as well. Mobile was the only way. Look, I talked to the head of the Gaming Control Board, you know, last night whenever you texted me, you know, and I asked him for an update, and he's hopeful for Super Bowl. You know, I mean, that's the plan. Wow. And that's been the plan ever since I think really we saw the legislation coming together, hoping that we'd get to a point to where when the Super Bowl's here, people will be able to bet online. Wow. That's not a hard date.
Yeah.
But I think that's the goal. That's the goal from everybody involved. Now, the other element of that is we passed something that would allow bars and restaurants to be able able to participate, which is the thing that people have been blowing my phone up about.
Yeah.
I've had several bar and restaurant owners saying, when am I going to be able to get one of these kiosks? When am I going to be able to have that? We gave that ability to the lottery, and we are still, we're still working through that process.
Yeah.
It's a slow process. It's a little more complicated, honestly, than the sports betting. I mean, from a casino standpoint, the biggest holdup right now for mobile betting, to be able to bet online or on your computer right now, is what's called the geofencing. So when we passed the law, the voters in each parish got a chance to vote on it. Well, 9 of those parishes did not pass it. So the 9 that didn't pass it, we have to geofence out.
No.
Yeah, so that you can't bet there. And so, I mean, think about how complicated that is. Okay,
I mean,
gosh. Y'all are pretty tech savvy in here.
Right.
I'm just looking at the amount of equipment, but I mean, the ability to be able to block out a parish to where when you cross that line, you can't bet on your phone.
Enter that geofence.
It's complicated, and the regulators, Gaming Control Board, and the state police have to feel confident that your technology, if they allow you to do this in the state, has the ability to be able to do that, and that's a big hurdle.
How many elements have to work together here?
It's several entities. So, I mean, the Gaming Control Board is ultimately the one vested with the power to regulate gaming or gambling in this state, okay? But state police is kind of the right arm and the enforcement arm of the Gaming Control Board. So it really is it's the legislature who enacts the laws, then you have the Gaming Control Board, then you have state police. And it's really those 3 entities. And you have the Attorney General's office. The Attorney General's office as well is involved in this. And so all of those arms are involved with making sure this becomes a reality. I think we're close on mobile. I do. I think the kiosk in the bars and the restaurants, unfortunately, we're a little further away, and I'm going to be watching that process closely with Louisiana Lottery and seeing how they go forward and seeing if any maybe any tweaks are necessary on all fronts, on the lottery front, on the mobile betting, and on the land-based casinos, if we need to make any tweaks with the regular session coming up.
But the possibility of the Super Bowl is,
that's a real thing. Yeah, that's a real thing.
Can't wait for the prop bets.
I trust. Yeah, no, look. I trust. There's certain people in government and in the legislature who I just trust, and so when the certain ones tell me, hey, look, Super Bowl is possibly a realistic thing, I believe them, and so I think and that'll be big. You want to talk about a game.
That's the most live betting that you're going to get in any sporting event.
And then you follow that up with March Madness.
Yeah, absolutely. Could be a great rollout for the state. And again, look, let's kind of go back to it. What I always say, when you have constituents who want this, who we go back to Acadiana, and like when I'm at a restaurant or anywhere, and people are coming up to you, that's one of the questions you get asked. Hey, what's going on with sports betting? When is this stuff going to be live?
They're yearning for it.
Oh, they are. And I'm telling you, the bar and restaurant owners want those kiosks. I get so many calls about that as well. They want something in there that maybe your casual fan is going to drive them to come into their restaurant. And so, yeah, it's good, and I was happy to see that come forward. The NIL stuff, kind of similar to you mentioned. I've been watching that. I was involved in that process as well. I handled that bill on the House side, and so I'm curious about how it's evolving. I think it's an evolving process. I think there's going to be some growing pains, and so I think eventually, in my opinion, the NCAA is going to step in at some point and maybe put some more barriers around it or some more guidance.
The decision makers, do the policy makers look at states like Florida and the language that they have in their legislation that makes them competitive for their state schools? Do you look at is that topic of conversation?
Yeah, 100%. So, I remember when the bill author, Senator Connick, was originally drafting it, and I was asking him questions about it, and he did that. He looked around at the other states. He tried to model, if you remember at the time, he really tried to model a bill that was tailored towards the athlete and less so to the institution. So,
Right.
Our bill really is athlete driven. We do have a few checks and balances where the school has to be able to feel comfortable with who you're signing up with. It can't go against the morals of the school, and so there are some parameters, but really our bill, if you read it, is tailored towards the athlete to give them a lot of freedom. And again, what did we talk about, months ago? If Louisiana didn't do this, we were going to get left behind.
Sure.
And you can look and say, well, maybe LSU, maybe our state schools aren't doing as much as some of these other schools. But at the end of the day, if we hadn't passed it, there's some states that didn't pass it. If we hadn't passed it, we would be getting left in the dust even more. So good. I'm just happy that we were in session at the time to be able to pass something like that, so that at least from a competitive standpoint we can keep up.
Another topic that really dominated your session was marijuana and legalization. I know that flower just became legal on January 1st. How have you seen the impact on the immediate numbers?
So
we've had sponsorship buy into this show, so I know that it is something that is definitely out there and that the public is eating
for
up.
sure. Yeah. So let's talk about demand. I told you about sports betting originally, and the demand and what I was hearing has been justified by the numbers we're seeing. Well, I mean, look at the lines that they were waiting at the medicinal marijuana distributors. I think in Louisiana we have a task force right now that's happening to kind of look at that, to take a deep dive. I think it's pretty evident that the price is probably a little high. We've heard that from people. We've heard there's not enough.
Great test case for you right here.
Keeping me in business here. Thank you. Looking out for the little guy.
That's funny. Hey, and then the second thing is we only have so many distributors in this state. There's only
is it 9?
9 or 10.
Yeah.
And so that's something I think we'll take a look at, is trying to get more access to the people that need it. And then thirdly, there's only 2 licensed growers in the state as well. And
state universities.
Universities. It's LSU and it's Southern, and that's it. And so the ability, we need to take a hard look at, do they have the capacity that for the demand? And so we have to look at, from a growing perspective, are we meeting the demand that's out there? And then secondly, from a distribution perspective, are we set up in this state to where we can reach everybody as well? And I think those are things we're hearing it, we're aware of it. Look, Louisiana's at this weird point. We're at this point to where you have some people on one side that are saying we need full legalization. Marijuana should be legal. There should be no restrictions. We should be like the states that have it full legal. You have other people who
recreationally,
right, okay, and then you have other people that are on another side who didn't even agree with the medicinal utilization, and they definitely don't want recreational. Then you have, again, like Louisiana, like we always do on a lot of these
gray
issues,
area.
The gray area. Right. And you do. And you have a lot of the people in the middle that are saying, okay, well, let's maybe see how this medicinal works. Maybe we can expand that a little bit more to where it's easy to access. We're watching the universities are benefiting from it, which is good. That's a revenue source for your universities. Maybe we can try to expand the medicinal to where we don't rush into the rec. And there's a lot of people in that kind of middle area. I think, look, anybody who understands and who's watched other states realizes recreational will probably eventually be legal in Louisiana. It's how quickly do we get there, and then how much do we explore this medicinal route as a viable way, rather than just jumping straight to the rec. And I think, look, we're having those conversations. Law enforcement has some very strong opinions on what we should be doing, and you can't discount that. I mean, people who say, oh, well, they're just stuck in their ways. You can't discount that. That's your sheriffs and your chief of polices and all these municipalities. They're responsible for regulating our crime. When somebody breaks into your car, breaks into your house, that's the first people you want to call. But on some other issues, you want to say, well, go sit in a corner. We don't want to listen to you. And so you can't do that. You just have to have a balanced approach. We have to take a look at what do the people of Louisiana want, and what works for our state. And it's an evolving process.
Get some sleep before February 1st. Do you think you can do that?
I'm trying. It's a balance. Like I like one of the few things that I will make time for is my dad and I have been hunting together.
I see that on social.
Since we were little. My dad and I. He's my idol and all that stuff. And I could say stuff that would probably make me me choke up. But I mean, we all have a person like that in our life, or at least I hope we do. And so I try to make time to go hunting with him. It's just it's a tough balance. You balance work life, social life, and then family life, and try to make all those work. But no, I'm gonna try to get some sleep, and whenever I have something new for you, man, I'm happy to come update you as well.
It is. It's great to see you. Thank you for what you do for our state, man, and all the time that you put in, because I know that right now is a very busy time, and a lot of influential decisions are being made for the future of what our state will look like, not only for us but for our kids. So thank you very much, man.
No, happy to do that. And again, thanks for having me on. And anytime y'all need an update, let me know. And again, congrats on the success. This is awesome. I don't want to downgrade the old spot too much. Okay, I don't want to throw it under the bus. But this is,
man.
It has some charm to it.
Yeah, it does. But this is legit. Yeah.
Thank you, man. It is good to see you, Captain America. Our guy, Representative John Stefanski, who is redistricting and from District 42, and really one of the bright and shining stars of our political system right here in our state. Thank you for his time this morning. We will be back. Gordon McKernan will be in talking NIL. as we will focus in on that. Remember, daily, we're brought to you by Cajun Ready Mix Concrete. CajunRMC.com is where you find those guys online. Industrial, municipal, residential projects. Cajun Ready Mix Concrete can help you. They have got 9 locations around the greater Baton Rouge area, which means if you order concrete, it'll be delivered on time to the exact specification. Our friends over at Cajun Ready Mix Concrete, ready for your order. Online, CajunRMC.com. That is CajunRMC.com. We'll talk to Gordon McKernan next, right here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
How many hours of sleep do you get? Average.
Like 4.5.
Oh, golly.
Like right now, I mean, normally, dude, I'll sleep as late as I can, you know, on other days. Good seeing you, dude. Yeah, tell your family I said what's up. I see him every now and then.
You work out in the morning, afternoon?
Dude, I haven't been to the gym in probably...
I didn't want to say it, but you might. The chest used to pop, dude.
I've been 2 months, dude.
Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Do you have questions about your finances? Are you looking for recommendations from a skilled financial advisor? Get in touch with our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. You can find him easily by logging online and shooting him an email at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. That is daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Whether it is help with your 401k or just fiscal advice heading into the new season, get in touch with Daniel today. Best way to do it? Email him, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. He's our experienced financial advisor. Let him be yours, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show on this Friday morning. We are driven and powered by Go Chevrolet here as always. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button, as we appreciate that. From Captain America, Representative John Stefanski, who was in here talking NIL. He was also talking sports gaming and the mobile capabilities to sports gaming coming to our state, hopefully, as he says, before the Super Bowl. We go now to Gordon McKernan in studio with us, the G, man, one of our good friends, and has been very influential on what is happening in and around NIL, and is a good friend of ours. As we said, I was calling his son's high school games. Every snap John Gordon took for that state championship run, the 3-title run with University High, we documented on the radio and was able to form a really good relationship with G, and it's carried on, and we appreciate to see you, man. Good morning.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of exciting stuff. We just talked to Representative John Stefanski about NIL.
That
yes,
was him in the parking lot?
Captain America.
Yeah. Okay.
That was, and he's head of redistricting right now, which is a hell of a task.
Did he talk about whether he's running for higher office? Did y'all get into that?
He didn't say it publicly, but I think that we can all kind of count on that. I think attorney general, governor, and even maybe president, right?
I need to reach out.
Yeah, you did.
I think he was thinking, he was thinking the same thing.
He definitely acted like he knew the G coming in, right? I mean, hey, we need to talk.
One Ferrari around town.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to be calling him when I get in the car.
Yeah, we'll make that happen. Just like you made happen with Keyshawn Booty, an NIL deal, which I think has gained and garnered a lot of attention. You broke the news earlier this week.
Right.
And Keyshawn has been a friend of our show and been on here routinely and talked about the relationship that you have from your point of view.
Right.
Just that deal before we kind of get into the grand scheme of NIL. How did that work out, and what do you expect from that?
I'm already seeing good things and expect good things. We actually signed the paper yesterday in my office, and his parents were there, and got him a bunch of swag. So I think they were excited.
Nice.
Really, would it happen? You think it's going to happen, but they were eager to get it done.
Paper.
We were ironing out all the contractual details this week, because you have to, compared to Alexis Morris, which is a much more vanilla thing.
Sure.
This one has many more moving parts, and you have to almost treat it like I told him. Like when you sign your pro contract, there are going to be clauses in here, right? There's going to be responsibilities in here, and if you do something wrong, you might have to forfeit money back. So the same thing here. We've got to understand and abide by certain standards and responsibilities you have, and he seems to get all that. Nice kid. I mean, he's really soft-spoken, as you know, except for if you keep bringing up when you talk about cars and how fast,
he kind of sits up,
how
right?
fast
He kind of
cars
sits
go.
up.
Let me tell you what, everything changes in that kid. He wants to race me car to car.
I know he doesn't.
I don't
think he does.
Take him to the runway, coach.
Not yet.
Not yet, so. Not yet, Keyshawn.
Let's wait a couple more years when you got that contract.
Yeah,
That's right.
A couple more deals before we get there.
Yeah.
But for you're so recognizable.
Yeah.
Everybody in town, when you walk, I walked into a restaurant with you last week. Everybody, picks their head up and says, you can hear the whispers. What does this do for the G brand?
Right. Well,
right?
So two things I think it was for my brand. It introduces me a little more to a segment of people that are aware of me, but probably don't know me and don't know that I'm passionate about LSU sports, LSU football, college sports, right? Yeah. And people see me as a guy on the billboard or on the truck. And this, now they're seeing, well, he cares. He actually cares about things we care about. Yeah. And so I think it's introducing me maybe more goodwill in that area. People get to know us a little better, think about us a little differently. And the second thing really was, because I do love LSU, born and raised, parents with all my family, kids. It was really to send a message. You can't come poach.
Yeah.
You're not going to come in here and just
there you go.
pluck who you want, when you want, and hopefully start the wake-up call for other businesses. And I think it's begun. It's just happening a little slower than I'd like to see.
So that's what we talked about. That's what NIL needed.
Yeah.
And when we were talking about it, we would reference business owners, and I would use it as the example because of what I saw at University High. And not to say that was some team that was bought and put together, but it was an opportunity for John Gordon to play around really talented players coming up. And you cared about U-High, you cared about sports, you cared about giving people opportunity, and I always thought that checked all the boxes for NIL. Is that how you got there? I mean, is that really kind of what drove you to it?
Yeah, it is. Like I said, the love for U-High I had, and I went there, and parents, same thing. I mean, my family went from U-High to LSU. all of them, parents and grandparents, and I just wanted to see what I could do in that arena. I don't know, when I had some good success with Alexis, immediately people started talking, and then started building momentum, and I thought, wow, I think there is an opportunity here for my company as well as to help LSU and help these student athletes.
We've heard about collectives. We've heard about this as the model that Texas A&M is using in Texas and some of the schools in Florida with the legislation and the way that it's written. We were talking to Stefanski about what's the best way to do it here? What's the legal way to do this here in Louisiana?
Yeah, and that's a great question, and that's unknown right now. Certainly the booster organizations for each college would love to be involved, but right now, my understanding, looking at the law, and maybe Stefanski talked about it, it's not clear cut, and probably is against that happening. So whether it's a TAF or someone at Louisiana Lafayette or wherever trying to do that, I don't think right now it can presently be done. So that makes it incumbent upon business owners to kind of figure it out themselves, like they have done in other states. And I'm not sure the exact structure. We're talking about it, myself, other business owners, trying to figure that out, the best mechanism to do it.
Have you seen the energy around that with business owners that you were hoping for?
Yeah, it is. But it is a little slower still than I expect. And I think that's trying to figure out how to handle the booster organizations as well, right? No one wants to step on the toes of the booster organizations. They're needed. TAF's very important to the success of LSU, and trying to figure out how to work it out. You can't coordinate it with them, but trying to see what they're doing independently while we're doing it. It's not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. I think to some people you are seen as like a knight in shining armor when you talk about Keyshawn, right? I mean, I think when you talk to an LSU football fan and they think of Keyshawn wearing crimson and winning the Bolitnikoff, I mean, that's scary to think about, right? So where do you go from here? How do you? I mean, like, does everybody? Ali Gay, I hear, wants to come back. Do you call him? Do you?
Yeah, any business owner can reach out to any student athlete, right, and strike a deal. It doesn't matter if you're a tennis player or a football player, and vice versa. Any student athlete can reach out to any business owner. And I've started fielding calls from various athletes around the state, interested in trying to do it, and we're being very thoughtful and deliberate, and have been in talks and negotiations this week, all week, with different players.
You're a busy dude. Like, I mean, you're tough to get in touch with. How much time does this take?
Yeah, it's an inordinate amount of time.
I imagine.
I had no idea.
Right.
It's taken away a lot from my law practice and my other companies that I run. But it's just getting your handles on it, get to understand it, getting the processes down, and I think we're getting there. And my marketing department is pivoting very quickly. And learning it, and I'm fortunate. I have a couple of people in the marketing department. My marketing director, Alex, is a fanatic fan, and so when we just happened to this, his eyes got bright. And
I can help.
He's hit it. I mean, he's all in it. So it's been good.
So will we see Keyshawn on billboards and trucks?
You're going to see lots of things like that.
Nice.
And we're going to be purposeful with it and how we do it. I'm not going to launch him on a TV commercial right now. Just kind of subtle, and as I told him yesterday, I said, you have an opportunity to define who you are, right? I'm just not going to say, Keyshawn, this is what you're doing.
Yeah.
I want you to be, what do you want people to know about you? I think that's important, that the LSU community understands who Keyshawn is.
Yeah.
And then somehow mesh that with who I am and my brand, and it's a win-win for both of us. So
absolutely.
I think that's important. I think he appreciates that.
I think from every LSU fan, thank you.
Yeah.
Really and truly for what you're doing, for at least caring, right? I think that you were kind of the first one that has stepped up and said, hang on, this isn't going to happen in and around our state and around LSU. Right. And so thank you for doing that.
Happy to.
Was it the threat of Alabama actually being able to take Keyshawn Booty that made you realize, like, weren't you at the duck camp? You were like, hold on, this can't happen here. This can't happen to LSU. Was that kind of the kick in the pants?
Yeah, that really was, and I knew Coach Saban when he was here, right? I knew.
Sure. You know his style.
I knew things, and I knew the manner in which he can operate. Right? Yeah, and when you start hearing those rumblings, I think it's time you got to stand up and try to make a difference, and that's what I did. I figured, like, I might overpay for market value for Keyshawn, and probably did, but given what the symbolic, what it meant to the fan base and to everybody else, it's worth it. But
no, I think he did.
Yeah.
Actually,
he got to limit out twice.
Right.
From that standpoint of Keyshawn and kind of bringing a lot of attention to that. I mean, that really is kind of the opening of what could be Pandora's box, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because he's the one.
He's the one. That's
Yeah.
right. That's what I'm thinking. So, little unique situation. I don't think it'll happen like that again with
Sure.
LSU being down so much and so far behind because of the disconnect between losing Ogeron and Kelly coming in. We were just behind, and we really need to make a move.
We've got 600 people here watching live, and the thank yous that are rolling in to what you have done, I think stepping up is evidence to what people. Have you had a chance to talk to Brian Kelly? I know that you and Kim Mulkey have a really good relationship. Have you had a chance to talk to him?
I had a chance.
And what were your impressions?
He reminded me, in a good way of Saban. It was very businesslike, very organized, very purposeful in what he was telling me. Knew Coach Ogeron and Coach Mileswell, both of them.
Yeah, sure.
Completely different interactions and personality. Those are good old boys and talking, laughing. Not Brian had a good personality, but there's just a discipline that I saw and that I witnessed reminded me of talking to Coach Saban years ago.
It's great to see you. Thank you for
good to
stopping
see
by
y'all.
this morning.
Thank you all so much for having me.
I guess you can take the Ferrari.
Oh,
Why not? Yeah, that's how bad. It's all yours.
When we come back, we will talk to Joey Molinaro of Barstool Sports, formerly of Barstool Sports, as we will talk to him about what's next. But that is Gordon McKernan. You know him, and as we've always said, the billboards, the commercials, the trucks, all that stuff, whether you like it or you don't like it, we all have one common denominator, and that is a love for LSU and his stepping up and doing what he did for Keyshawn. And it looks like for athletes to come is going to be very influential on the LSU brand in the NIL space, where they were immediately behind on National Signing Day. I think Texas A&M, Texas, and Alabama proved that, but they have made up a ton of ground because of getting it done with Gordon McKernan. Thank you very much, man.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, good to see you.
Do we validate?
We'll be back right after this on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
So y'all.
Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more. Do you have questions about your finances? Are you looking for recommendations from a skilled financial advisor? Get in touch with our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. You can find him easily by logging online and shooting him an email at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. That is daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Whether it is help with your 401k or just fiscal advice heading into the new season, get in touch. True Blue Water, true hydration at its finest. Right now, you're only a few minutes away from getting your 5-gallon water delivered to you, just like we are over here at the UDL. All you got to do is log on to truebluewater.com. That's TRU, bluewater.com. The website's fantastic over at truebluewater.com. You can get your service and find out how quick it is. You can schedule a delivery, even hop on the billing system right there at truebluewater.com. TRU, bluewater.com. Papa Earl's, the fine spice, originating right down here in South Louisiana by our guy Mark Pop Norman. Developed it back in 2018 and won Amazon's Newcomer of the Year in 2019. They pride themselves in having 30% less salt and sodium than the leading brands at the same price point. You can find them locally. Look for Papa Earl's at Rouse's, Calandro's, Mathern's, High Neighbor, and more.
Oh, great.
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, as that has been a strong last hour from Representative John Stefanski of District 42, head of redistricting, talking sports gaming, medical marijuana, and all that goes along with that, to NIL. We went to Gordon McKernan, one of the top boosters of LSU, coming in here and talking about what was next for LSU, and
ended with Lloyd picking on the interns.
Yeah, and now we got Dubes chasing down Gordon the Ferrari.
It's worth the shot, dude. Go
on foot, on foot.
Down the street.
I know. I wish I was the
Cross-country guy.
Can we get you to side profile that? You don't mind? Can you cut the wheel a little
Actually,
bit?
reverse a little bit and then do it again. Make it a little.
Damn it, Gordon! Can you back up just a little bit? The sun's not right. Gordon McKernan, who knew? Huge fan of Joey Molinaro.
Yeah.
Molinaro's name came up and it stopped traffic in the studio. It is good to talk to our friend. Joey Molinaro, master impressionist, super talented, does a great Brian Kelly already. We love it. Is joining us now here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Good to talk to you, bro. Big week. How are you?
Guys, great to be with you. I'm excited for the new digs down there. It looks sick. Very, very exciting. I'm excited about the news for our guy, Keyshawn. So, Gordon, shout out to you. And also, I'm looking to be unemployed here pretty soon. So, if you have anything you want to throw my way.
Get that law degree, dude.
Yeah, dude. Gordon's already talking deals, man. He was already talking when you were on hold. He was talking about stuff, how we want to set up a call. And we might have some things in the work already for you, Joey. Tell us about what's going on. We saw the news earlier this week, social media. Obviously, you've been with Barstool and been one of their recognizable faces, but as you put out, that relationship had come to an end. But tell us about it and what's going on with you.
Yeah, man, it was I signed a 2-year deal with them back in the spring of 2020, and it was right after. I mean, geez, I just talked to you guys. Well, Jordy, when you and T-Bob were doing your thing, I just talked with you guys a couple times. It was just after Joey B and the Tigers went 15-0, and that whole train was rolling, and so I hopped on with them, signed a 2-year deal, and it's been 2 years. I mean, surprisingly enough, it's been 2 years. Like it happened quickly, and I got a call, and they were just like, hey, we're looking at contracts, and don't think we're going to renew with you. And I was like, man, that's cool. I mean, I was kind of ready for a change and ready for something new. And it was a very mutual kind of amicable, just like, hey, it's like I said, I played out my contract. You guys had me. It was an honor to work with people like Big Cat and PFT and everybody like that. But, yeah, man, I'm just excited for what's next, dude. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to, here in a little bit, because I still have a little bit left on my contract. So, I'm not technically unemployed yet. But, I'm just excited to test those free agency waters, man. So it's going to be a fun time.
Can you talk about what it's like to have the power of a brand like Barstool behind what you've done? I know that you went into it with a certain amount of social media followers, or you're coming out with 100,000 more, it looks like. What has this experience of working with a big brand, even with a talent like yours, how did that kind of coexist with each other, and how did you benefit from it?
Yeah, dude, I think, at the time, it really just kind of legitimized me, right? Because I went from, just a guy on Twitter and a guy who did Coach O and a Coach Saban type of deal to all of a sudden, now he has the Barstool tie, and now he is with them, and now he can work with people like Big Cat and PFT and KFC, and now I had that avenue to be able to show, hey, sure, I do these impressions, but also I can write, and also I can, host things, and also I can interview people, and I can, so I think just the legitimization that it brought to me, to where people just stopped going, you're 15 minutes of fame, you're, Twitter guy or whatever. Even though people still, you're the guy on TikTok. They still do that, no doubt. But I think just professionally, from a standpoint of, what would come next down the line, as much as people want to say stuff about Dave or say stuff about Barstool, it is still a very, very legitimate, successful media business. Yeah. That once you've been there, it's a thing that people say, I've seen on Barstool Sports. So yeah, I think that was just the biggest thing for me. Is just it took me from being Joey Molinaro, the Saban guy who did a few videos, to Joey Molinaro, he's a legit player in the game now.
Speaking of Saban, did you see that conversation he had with Kirby Smart at midfield following that national championship win? How did that go from your point of view?
Well, first, I'm not exactly sure from that conversation, actually, that there wasn't a little inner workings going on, because that looked a little too happy for Saban, man.
It did, bro.
we might need to throw an investigation in there, because my man was coming out to the 50-yard line smiling like it was Christmas morning. I
mean, holding him by the shoulder, kind of pulling him in. I'm like, what is this, bro?
He's Dude, right? I mean, I know he's one of your proteges, but, Saban is supposed to be the guy that's just like, hey, look, I know that I paid your way for you to come down there and be able to build a national championship, but I'm still going to whoop your ass every single time that you come up my alley. Like, that's what I was expecting, and then all of a sudden he's freaking smiling, bow. Hey, y'all whooped our ass in the fourth quarter. Yeah, no joke, he whooped your ass in the fourth quarter, bro. Like, that's not – what is this? 15-point loss in the national championship to one of your proteges? What's next? Lane Kiffin going to come spank you around too? Crazy.
I was watching a little bit of the Pat McAfee show, and they had Frank Caliendo on, and he is obviously somebody that everybody thinks of when they think of impressions. But he said he will not go near a Nick Saban because you have mastered it. What kind of compliment is that for you, for somebody that you probably, I don't want to say look up to, but certainly strive to kind of be in that same arena with?
Oh, dude, I didn't even know that. That's awesome. I mean, Frank is, one of my top mentors. I talk to him fairly regularly. I mean, I from 2-3 years ago when I was starting, I've always been like, yeah, Frank is like, I'm in no means trying to like one up Frank. I worship that guy. Like, I used to record his segments on Mike and Mike and Dave Letterman and watch him back. Like, so for him to say that, dude, I mean, that's what I say about like his John Madden, and unfortunately now, his John Gruden and all that, you know what I mean? Like, those are the ones that's like,
out of material.
Like, why don't you try John Madden? And I'm like, no, like that'd be pointless. Like, Frank, it cannot get better than Frank. And so for somebody like him, who is just, I mean, that he totally changed the game, just mastered that. Holy cow! I mean, what a way to start a Friday, dude. Thanks. I didn't even know he said that, so that's incredible.
Absolutely, dude. Thank you for you.
Yeah, thank you, Joey. What goes into the process of creating a new voice? You know what I mean? I know obviously you don't just wake up and say, oh, I can do this, but like how long does it take you? What do you have to do? How many times are you looking at the videos that you record yourself and make fun of yourself? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, bro, it's it's an interesting process because it's really different in each kind of scenario. Like, for whatever reason, with like Andrew Luck, with Coach O, with Saban, they came fairly quick to me. Like, it wasn't something that I really had to like watch a bunch of tape of them and then like record myself and like keep working on it to like get the voice lower or whatever. Like, those just kind of came naturally to me. But like, one like Owen Wilson or one like, like I threw a Bill Burr out there a few weeks ago. Those are ones that probably, I'd say a few weeks, a month, where I would, be watching their clips on YouTube, watching scenes that they've done, watching their stand-up, watching whatever, and kind of, getting it down, getting the pattern down, getting how they talk down, getting what kind of tone their voice is. And then, honestly, like setting up my tripod and hitting record. And then just all of a sudden it's like, hey, I don't know what's going to come out of this, but for the next minute and a half, I'm going to be Owen Wilson talking about God knows what.
Awesome.
And then I watch it back and I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty good. I like it. And then that's what I tell people too, is like, once I feel good about it and feel that it would be worthy enough to like, if it was SNL, they were like, hey, we need you to do, Owen Wilson in a sketch this week. Right, and then it's like, okay, I could go live with that. I feel good about that, and so that's just always kind of my process. And then the second part is always trying to find the best scenario to put them in. What would be funny for this person to be doing that we haven't seen, that people would be like, oh man, that's hilarious to think about Chris Collinsworth at the Chick-fil-A drive-thru or Owen Wilson on a first date, like those kind of things. So yeah, that's it. But it varies.
What did you make of Andrew Luck's public appearance the other night? When I saw him on ESPN, I was like, oh my God, Molinaro has got to be, this has got to be like fantasy type stuff for Molinaro. I mean, like he's got the mustache. He looks trimmed down. This is going to be content gold for Molinaro. When you see that, what do you think?
It's just great to have him back, and as skinny as he is, I think that the Colts right now would kill to have Andrew Luck back as their quarterback. And speaking of kill, that mustache kind of makes him look like a little bit of a serial killer. So it's good to have him back and just know that he's on daddy duty and continue changing poopy diapers. So
are you interested?
In all seriousness, I was like, dude, I had no idea that was happening, right? And so all of a sudden, he shows up on the screen, and I took a picture. I was like, "Oh my God, he lived! Like, he's
alive!
I'm back!"
Yes, that's right.
Here, this is unbelievable. Like we were literally all of us saw Bigfoot on national TV on Monday night, right. And then I went to the game. I was lucky enough to score a last-minute ticket, and they did another thing with him, like at the end of the first quarter or something on a timeout break. And of course, it's in Indianapolis, right? And so. I mean, you got your Dogs fans and your Tide fans and everything, but you still had a lot of people from Indy there. They were just booing the hell out of him, man. I mean, they were just giving it to him, so I kind of felt bad. But hey, dude, I'm just glad that, like I said, he's not just out in the woods somewhere. Just like
I think he was.
Right? Yeah. Well, yeah. He made it
bring back Jack Doyle. I might come back.
Hey, Joey, what's your feelings on Big Ben? Is it a little bittersweet for you that he's going to be this is his last hurrah?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like, again, I mean, I think we see these kind of things all the time. I mean, even in my situation right now with my career in terms of, my couple years at Barstool, it's like you just know when it's time to move on, and it's just time to move on, right? It's time for him to hang him up. It's time for the Steelers to move on. It's been a phenomenal 18 years, but I mean, that's just the cycle of life, the cycle of the NFL, So I was there on Monday night in Pittsburgh when they swept the Browns, and it was Big Ben's last victory lap. So that was good enough for me, man. Honestly, all that from that point this has all just been icing on the cake. The beating Baltimore the way we did, the sneaking into the playoffs the way we did. He's going into it on Sunday night already just like, we don't stand a chance. Everybody's already saying we're going to lose by 20, so screw it. Let's just have fun.
Good spot to be in.
I'm not going to lie. I think that's kind of dangerous. I like that. I like that approach.
Yeah,
so I'm ready to roll, man.
In sports, that's where you want to be. At Joey Molinaro is where you follow him on Twitter, as he's the best, man. Our guy. And going out on his own and will crush it. Before we get you out of here, that first conversation that Brian Kelly had with Orgeron telling him just what the job entails in leading the LSU football program went like what when they spoke for the first time?
Well, see, the thing is, bro, is that people don't understand that the Southern Brian Kelly, that ain't people.
That ain't him.
I'm very defensive. I'm very defensive of it. You know what I mean? So it's like, people are like, well, that doesn't sound like Brian Kelly. I'm like, well, did you hear him at the basketball game? Hell no, it doesn't sound like Brian Kelly. You know what I mean? So he's hitting up Ode, Ode's just like, well, Brian, first off, you got to learn how to do the gritty, and you got to get that spicy food down there. I know you certainly don't put no hot sauce on your food down there, Brian. You got to have some gumbo out. You got to have some jumbo because these balls ain't going to listen down there in Louisiana. And then Coach Kelly would come back with something with his straw hat on while he's sipping iced tea and lemonade on his front porch. You know what I mean? Well, now, Coach O, it is just a mighty honor to be able to talk to you every single day that you would offer me some advice for how to tank on this job here at LSU, the great state of Louisiana, with my family. And then Coach O would say, hey, Brian, you got to cut that flammable stuff out right there. I see right through that, brother. If you keep doing that, I got enough fishing pole for it down there. I don't even care. Go practice.
Love you, bro. We'll talk soon. Thank you, man.
That's amazing.
Love you guys. See ya.
Later, buddy. There he is, Joey Molinaro. Check it in. Yeah, exactly.
Wow,
You're
we
hired.
are
bro.
hiring.
You are hired. City Cafe, citycafebr.net. Go see our friends over there as Cody Miranda, Squeaky Miranda, and the crew at O'Neill and George O'Neill. Over 100 years in business with lunch specials and brunch that cranks up every Sunday at 10 a.m. Stop in and see them over at City Cafe. citycafebr.net. More crazy shit from Alec Baldwin. Have you seen the latest video from Baldwin?
God, what did he do now?
I haven't seen it. I don't know.
Filmed something in his front seat of his car talking about finding the truth on the killing, all this stuff.
Good.
And then
Poor
he
guy.
whips a sugar packet out of his front pocket of his
sure?
coat. Yes, it is.
Is that sugar?
No. It's closed. It's sealed. And it's something that a fan mailed him.
Oh no, anthrax.
And he like loses his mind over it. It looks as if he is like trying to
Wait, why did they mail
claim
him a sugar
insanity. I
packet?
don't know, man. You've got to see the video.
Can we
Nathan's
play it,
gonna
or
be
will
here.
we get in trouble?
We would probably
We
definitely get in trouble for it.
Yeah.
But I would say we will take a break.
And watch it.
And we will
Absolutely.
get Nathan Velasquez on the phone. And if you have not seen it,
Where is
just
it?
go to Twitter
Okay.
and just type in Alec Baldwin and it'll pop up. And it's him sitting in his front seat, and he just is losing his mind, bro. And Nathan has been fantastic on this topic, and he'll talk about it next year on the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, we are driven and powered by Go Chevrolet every single day. Go see Go Express Auto Sales on the corner of Sherwood and Florida.
Rooster.
There you go.
Dog
Sounds
got
like a Ferrari on the run.
Dog
there.
got bored.
Yeah, right.
Santa?
Good luck.
Santa?
Keyshawn don't want none of that smoke, does he? No.
Not yet. Not yet. Not
What is he
yet.
doing?
Wait till he gets his own car when he gets in the draft. He's gonna
Keyshawn
do
on
whatever.
day one of signing the contract is challenging the boss to a race.
What does Keyshawn drive, though?
He
Like,
dodge.
what's
Well, he drives like one of those Dodge. Is it a Hellcat?
Okay,
Yeah.
so he
I
could
don't
race them in a Ferrari
I mean,
then, right? In a Dodge?
60.
I mean, you could make the effort
Right.
in a
just-
Dodge.
You ain't catch. You ain't.
I don't
you
want.
ain't
I don't want none
sniffing
of that horse
No.
though.
it. You ain't sniffing.
I
it.
mean, when I just walked outside and asked him to move the spot, when he threw it, that thing sounded like. It sounded
Yeah,
like
it's roar- it roars at
Sounded
you.
like money.
800 horses under there. bro.
800
It roars
million.
at you, no doubt.
Yeah, it sounded like a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
it
That's a
sounded
good way
like-
to describe
The
it.
neighbors
the all-white
didn't even know
Ferrari.
they're getting into it with.
Who in the hell is next door?
It's a Ferris
God, I
Bueller
wish.
situation.
Honestly, I wish you just let him keep it there.
I know.
I know.
Toe Gordon McKernan.
Hey,
see what happens.
I mean,
Let's
yeah,
go. Go
right.
head to head with me,
I
buddy.
know,
Let's see what
right?
happens.
See who walks out.
Yeah.
Whose
What's the
car
name
is
of your
that,
firm?
Will?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy your
What's
firm.
your little
You
You no
firm?
longer own that anymore.
Exactly.
Whose car is this? Read the license plate.
It's keyless, by the way.
Keyshawn drives the Challenger Hellcat.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah. Has a
mean,
little
that
giddy
car
up.
can
Has a
go.
little giddy up. No, he's not gonna
He
get
still
that
don't want
smoke.
none of that smoke.
No, still not. bad, but-
Nathan Velasquez next here on the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the comment button. We appreciate it.
Help us pay for this graphics package. Oh, let me do it the right way. Shabam.
Graphics look fun.
The goose, we see you.
Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Do you have questions about your finances? Are you looking for recommendations from a skilled financial advisor? Get in touch with our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. You can find him easily by logging online and shooting him an email at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. That is daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Whether it is help with your 401k or just fiscal advice heading into the new season, get in touch with Daniel today. Best way to do it? Email him, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. He's our experienced financial advisor. Let him be yours, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Do you have questions about your finances? Are you looking for recommendations from a skilled financial advisor? Get in touch with our friend Daniel Newman over at Edward Jones. You can find him easily by logging online and shooting him an email at daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. That is daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. Whether it is help with your 401k or just fiscal advice heading into the new season, get in touch with Daniel today. Best way to do it? Email him, daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. He's our experienced financial advisor. Let him be yours. daniel.newman@edwardjones.com.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Welcome.
Do it.
Oh.
Hey! Opa!
Nice start to your Friday.
Hey,
Nothing wrong
it's for
with
you,
that.
brother. It's
January
for you.
14th, the day that will live on forever. We will always remember that around here on FM Digital Media. It is the day, January 14th, 2021, that our relationship came to an end at the radio station we used to work at and set us a sail on this mission where we are
Look at
now
us
on the
now.
Jordy Culotta Show. And here we are a year later. Mikey developing and launching his show.
Let's go.
On Monday, a part of FM Digital Media, and somebody who has been a mainstay from all of our shows since day one has been our friend Nathan Velasquez, the very talented Nathan Velasquez, the 5-minute critic that you must follow on social media and that you must follow on YouTube for the YouTube station as we cheers.
Don't worry, Nathan. I'll
the
drink one
1-year
for you.
anniversary. Nathan, we've got
Thank
some
you.
champagne poured for you that
Five everywhere.
Lloyd is going to drink.
Absolutely, I'll have two for you, brother. Don't
cheers.
you worry. No
But
workout
very
today.
cheers, very much a cheers here to you, everybody who is here on this
Yes.
Friday. Nathan, good morning. How is New York? It is sunny down here in South Louisiana.
Actually, not that bad here, to be honest. I mean, yeah, it's still pretty cold, but I mean, nowhere near as bad as it was last week with all the snow. But congrats on a year. It's honestly been a year.
Can you
feels
believe it?
like
Isn't that
that's
crazy?
bizarre.
I
That's
know.
very
It is.
bizarre.
It
I
is.
remember those social media videos of you guys tearing out what it became the UDL. That's insane to
Yeah.
think that's
It
only
is.
been a year. Well, congrats.
Thank you,
Thank
buddy.
you.
Thank you, buddy. Congrats to you on the 5-minute critic success. And what the hell is going on with Alec Baldwin? I mean, like, you tipped me off on this video when you and I were discussing what we were going to talk about today.
Yeah.
And then I asked you for a link. You sent me the link to this video, and I mean, like, it's almost. I'm like, what am I watching? Like, there's no way he can be this incompetent going through this in his life and being just he's unless he's trying to form a defense of insanity. I don't know what else he's doing.
That makes the most sense of anything else, because I have no idea what the point of all these videos is that he's starting to do. There's this one guy, there's this comedian named Kyle Dunnigan who does a perfect impression of him. It's hilarious the way that he's making fun of all these Instagram videos, because it's perfect comedy material. And I mean, like, obviously, this whole thing started off with a terrible tragedy, and I feel like none of this stuff, it's almost unfair that Baldwin is doing all of this stuff, because it totally takes away from who's actually supposed to be the focal point, the main victim of this. But these videos are starting to become so weird. This is like the second of two that he's done this year. The first one was him going on and on about how he was in this coffee shop and this young woman came up to him and gave him a Splenda packet. And the Splenda packet had written on it, like, "We're all praying for you, hopes for you. We all know that you'll be okay." And he's like almost crying about this thing. I don't know.
Why
but
a
then
Splenda packet?
I have no idea.
So
I have
I don't
no
like a
idea.
napkin or something.
I know. Why Splenda?
It's just
Well, but he goes like, "If I could meet the woman, I would send you a very lovely gift. Thank you so much for what you." But then he goes on the video, says, "And I feel so terrible because I've now lost it." He says he lost the Splenda pack. He didn't know where it was. Maybe it got thrown out or something. And then in this video, he's going on and on about, it's so weird to be like, the way that we can honor the woman who died is to find out what actually happened.
find
And
out
it's
the
like,
truth.
Dude, yeah, to find the truth. We have to find the truth. And it's like, man, this isn't like some serial killer that's running around and we've got all these clues. It seems like a pretty cut and dry thing that happened. Like, you're kind of making this worse for everyone, including you. But then it's so weird. He goes, "And then you're never going to believe it." Reaches into his coat pocket and then pulls out the Splenda pack. And it's like, "What do you think of that?" And it's like, what do we think of that?
He's a genius.
And and I hate to find humor in it because you're right. I mean, there's somebody that has died here tragically.
Yeah.
I mean, like a mother of a young child, and it's so just
bizarre.
It's strange
I
and
think,
bizarre.
I
mean,
think
it's
I think the thing that's rising to the top from this, that I think, because a lot of people, this news story has been circulating so much, and it's circulating a lot because Alec Baldwin continues to not shut up. And I think a reason it's continued to circulate is that everyone, you kind of ignore Hollywood, you ignore the celebrities because they're annoying. We're in award season right now. That's kind of when they're most annoying. And this is a situation where it's like, wow, this is like actual real world consequences, tragedy, like what's actually going to happen. And you actually see a celebrity be this out of touch. It's like the cards are actually being laid on the table. It's like, so this is actually how out of touch some people in that industry get.
You could be that rich.
right.
It's a different world.
You can be that rich.
It's a different world.
No, yeah.
It is.
But I love he then goes on in the video to say that I'm complying with turning over my phone for an investigation, which he was supposed to do like a month ago. But you know that he's filming this video on that phone.
It's amazing. It is so strange how bizarre it is. You called it, Nathan, that the Golden Globes was going to be a disaster. It has come and gone, and it was a absolute flop. What do you make of one of Hollywood's biggest award shows? I guess they're starting to realize that they don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if people didn't know going into this, last year, NBC, who pays $60 million a year for this show, after like massive numbers fell, they said, we're not doing this anymore. The reason they gave was there's a disappointment in terms of diversity, but I feel like everyone that really talks about it is kind of like, I think it might be the fact. Yeah, you've got 2 million people watch this thing, and you're hardly getting us any money. We're getting no views, so you're out of here. So the Golden Globes kind of came back. They were trying to stay safe, like, well, we'll do a live stream on a YouTube channel. And then at the last minute, they don't even do the live stream. It was literally they just tweeted out winners of these awards.
Wow.
Nobody cared. None of the celebrities, none of the studios put any like information like, hey, we won a Golden Globe. They try to pump as much. The point of these are really to make money. The studios, the celebrities didn't even care. And the weird thing is seeing the reaction of all the reporters talking about it. They say that this is essentially a one-off. I think the thing that's going to be a bit of a reckoning is that all the views of all these shows, if they don't turn around and make it somewhat interesting because they used to be interesting. The Oscars used to pull 55 million views every single year. That doesn't happen anymore, and it's a weird thing to see. The story I think is trying to be this is a one-off, but I think this whole year is going to be as bad as it was, if not worse, as last year.
What is, in your opinion, what is on the horizon for Hollywood? Where are they right now? What type of impact do they hold on? I guess not society, but where do they fit in now? I mean, it doesn't seem like they know their place.
I think they have little to no influence in the actual culture more than anything else. Even people that agree with their ideology, I think, are just annoyed more often than not. And I think it's going to end up being more of the Amazons and the Netflix, the streamers, the people that get like real-time data in terms of what audiences actually want. And they're going to more than likely it's going to be democratized throughout the entire country. Like here in New York, they're building new studios here. They're building huge studio spaces in New Jersey that are being bought up by Amazon, by Netflix. I think you're going to start seeing people trickle out of there. And it's just going to become a bit like all of this stuff, like the Oscars, Golden Globes. Those used to be points that everyone rallied together, would watch in their homes, talk about movies, talk about stuff. And I think eventually that's just going to be what streaming is. Like over the holiday season, I watched like a movie, the whole family gathered around, and you can watch the newest thing at home. I think it's just going to be a lot more of a on-demand, immediately, whenever I want my content. Yeah. It's going to be focused more on entertaining than these, long, sometimes boring movies that are touted as the awards winners. I think that's going to start to be a way of the past.
Welcome to FM Digital Media.
That's right, sir.
Yes, you go, baby. On-demand programming at all times. 5-Minute Critic, what are we watching? Do I see that Matrix is up?
Yeah, Matrix is up this Wednesday. We live stream the reviews so everyone can get involved every Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. Matrix, and it was very divided what people were saying. Me, I was not a fan of it. I went back, watched the original Matrix movie.
They remade the first one.
Yeah.
They did. They remade the first one.
And they shoehorned Warner Brothers in it again, like they did with Looney Tunes and the Space Jam.
With Space Jam. I don't know what. They keep doing that all the time. It's getting a little, I don't get what that joke is supposed to be, but it's not very funny. And the first Matrix is, I think, almost as close to perfect that a movie can get. This one feels, hokey. It feels like it has none of the originality, none of the excitement that the original one had. And also, it gives a total middle finger to pretty much all of humanity. Like, before you're trying to save the human race, I'll just say that's not really going on in this new one.
And then on the horizon next week, is it Dr. Strangelove?
Dr. Strangelove, yeah. We saw, I don't know if anyone listening has seen that new movie, Don't Look Up, but it's essentially...
I have to. Talk about a middle finger to humanity, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and about 2 weeks from now, I'm going to talk about Don't Look Up, because I was not a fan of that one. But
really?
I loved it.
Not really.
Why?
Not really.
You don't want to realize reality, Nathan?
Not really.
You're not looking up?
Laugh a little bit. I wanted to have a little bit of a laugh.
I laughed the whole time.
I thought it was hilarious. You didn't?
I don't know. I've been thinking that I might need to go through it again. The only thing that I could think the only thing I could think when watching it was that I've seen this movie before, and it was hilarious, and it was called Dr. Strangelove. So I wanted to go through that movie next week on the channel. I'm going to watch Don't Look Up again because I feel like I must be out of step with something because I didn't go with it the first time. I didn't laugh. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but that was just what it was on the first go. But I've heard that from so many people that it's hilarious. The message is on point in a lot of ways, so might need to revisit it.
Well, to change tune a little bit, Jordy has double booked himself. We had an LSU basketball game at 1 p.m. on Saturday, and he booked his son's birthday party at a movie theater for Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man movie. So give him some tips on how he can enjoy maybe both, because I've heard Spider-Man is good, but what do you do for a 40-year-old with a bunch of 12-year-olds at Spider-Man?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. You could be watching The Godfather, and chaperoning a bunch of little kids is going to make that difficult to enjoy. I'm not sure how to navigate that. I would say make sure you got a good Wi-Fi connection or a good 5G and just kind of sneak out and watch the game.
Thank you, Nathan. That's excellent.
Do you think
absolutely? Yes, I got it.
Hey, look, I'm not a dad. I'm not a dad yet, so I don't know exactly what that does. But that's kind of what I think was going on. Was everyone into the earlier Spider-Mans? Like, Jordy, have you seen the original Spider-Mans, the ones from the early stuff?
I have.
Whenever you do get a chance and there's not a basketball game on, I would say you need to check it out.
Thank you, Nate. Have a great weekend, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. Next time you're down here, can't wait for you to see the studio.
Yeah, it looks awesome. Talk to you guys next week.
Thank you, buddy. There he is, Nathan Velasquez, checking in from New York City here on this Friday morning as we celebrate this January 14th here on the Culotta Show. Strong showing for the Jordy Culotta Show here on this Friday with John Stefanski, Captain America, coming through, talking some mobile betting. Gordon riding his horse through.
Cannot wait for the mobile betting.
Coach, if they get it going for Super Bowl, that'll be
dude, I cannot wait to bet on this Gatorade color and the coin flip, and then live betting that's what that's for.
Yeah.
You can't live bet unless you're sitting at the kiosk waiting for stuff going on like you're at the casino. Like, I want to be able to say I'm at my house drunk.
Yes.
Watching the game, and I'm going to just throw money into the thing.
Yeah.
Just betting, bro.
Hey, this game is boring, but I'm going to make it more interesting.
Most electric bet you can make is the coin toss.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
That's why you hear everybody scream.
I mean, it's going to get to a point, I think you got live in-game betting where you're like, run or pass.
Oh, yeah.
Run or pass.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
I think you'll be sitting in the game like, what are they going to do here, boys? 50-50. You got run or pass. So you got, give me 100 on run.
No doubt. No doubt.
I used to call plays.
Shovel pass. That's a run. That's a run. That's not a pass.
When you watch the national championship game, that's why when the coin toss, you hear the cheers. They ain't cheering because they won the toss.
No,
they're cheering because they won their bet on the toss. It's
heads.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Tails never fails, boys.
Tails
never fails. 50 every time.
Really?
LSU baseball has 6 players on the perfect game top 100 college sophomores. Coach,
I gotta look.
Is that pressure on Jay Johnson?
Jay. We talked about this when he got the hire. Jay fell into a gold mine of talent. He brought in Barry, right? Who's a top 5.
He's the number 1.
No, Cruz is number 1.
Cruz is number 1. You're right.
Bill Barry is 4.
Cruz is 1. Jacob Berry is 4. First baseman Trey Morgan is 8. Shortstop Jordan Thompson is 10. They got 4 in the top 10.
Yeah,
Coach. Number 61 is left-handed pitcher Javen Coleman, and then 77 is Ty Floyd. The right-hander.
I want to give Jay Johnson fell into this gold mine. He brought in Jacob Berry. I do want to give props to one of my really good friends and former teammate Nolan Kane, because he was the recruiting coordinator. He brought these guys here.
Yeah,
that's all I think about when we talk about Noah Kane. Do y'all not? I
Nolan?
always think Nolan Kane.
Yeah, Big Daddy Kane.
Oh no, yeah, Big Daddy Bearcat.
Big Daddy Kane, baby.
Yeah, so I want to give him props because he went out there and he got these guys. He grinded out. He's at A&M now, but. Jay Johnson is.
What are you gonna do with baseball?
Fell into this thing. I mean,
I know Nolan. I mean, Nolan. If you get Nolan, I can see how it can work. But
who they hired Schlossnagle? They hired TCU's coach.
Yeah. But no, they have. Like I said, the whole issue, not the issue, but the whole thing that people are gonna worry about and wonder about is the pitching staff. And there's a couple guys on the top 100 or whatever of sophomores that are pitchers that are gonna have an impact. But you got to have starters. You got to now the way the SEC is, you have to be able to pitch.
You were on Golden Spike's watch list going into your junior year. Were you on any of these lists as an underclassman? I mean, I remember when you were kind of the stud on campus that you were recognized. But when you were young, were you?
I mean, postseason.
Because I guess after your freshman year, people had to take notice.
Yeah, I wasn't a preseason anything freshman year.
But sophomore
I was just hoping to make the team.
Because you had that freshman run.
Yeah, so then my freshman, I was a postseason freshman All-American, and then going into sophomore, I was a preseason All-American, and then preseason All-American going to junior year.
What's your
post freshman year?
Yeah, bro. Summer of his freshman year.
Yeah.
As soon as school let out, he started to play.
Preseason All-American.
So what are your thoughts on Cruz, Berry, and Morgan?
I think they're studs, man. I don't know enough about Jacob Berry yet. I haven't seen him. I've just seen him in there grinding. He doesn't, it doesn't seem like he talks a lot. He's not a guy. But I think Dylan Cruz, just from watching him, and I've said on here, I played against what I thought at the time was the best freshman hitter I've ever seen in college, in Anthony Rendon. I mean, he hit like 380, 390 with 20 pumps his freshman year. And then
both sides of the plate too, wasn't he?
No, just a righty. But Gold Glove style, short third baseman, like unbelievable. And then Dylan Cruz obviously put up some numbers. I'm like, man, last year, and he looked. I mean, just his approach and the way he attacks it. And he's a big dude, bro. He's athletic. He's put together, and he drives the shit out of it to right center. And that's kind of like the mark of a
good hitter,
advanced hitter. Someone who can drive the ball to the other opposite field, and you try to sneak the heater by them, and you can't get it in there. Drops the head on and pulls it down the left field line for a homer.
Is that still the like impetus for what a good hitter is? Because it seems like everybody wants to hit tugs and just hit bombs.
Well, everybody's different. Like not everybody can just think right center field and hit homers that way. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like, if there's an impetus for people that want to pull the ball,
right? But if you're only a pull happy guy and you don't have
Joey Gallo,
yeah, but Joey Gallo can pull the pitch away too. You know what I mean? So like if you're just cheating to the pull side and you can only have one side of the plate, to me that's not a great hitter.
Right.
If you can pull if you're a pull guy and you know that's where your power is, that's fine. But if you're able to pull that pitch away, that is, and that's what Joey Gallo does.
Major league hitting.
Yeah, like Joey knows, hey, look, I can have pop everywhere, but like
if you
I'm hitting the ball to center field to right center, and I'm gonna get on this dish, and I can hit the ball.
What a scary proposition!
You can't throw the ball.
What a scary proposition!
No, but that's what Barry Bonds did.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds put his dick on the plate and said, "Hey, you
throw it anywhere.
You want to try to get me out? Try to throw this ball inside. You can't get inside on me."
Yeah.
And now the pitch away is now down the middle.
Right.
What an accomplishment it must have been to strike him out.
I know.
Dude, they walked him with the bases loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
In the playoffs, I think.
I think so.
I think it was.
It was a big game.
Here's the thing. They walked him with the bases loaded, and the guy behind him is Jeff Kent, who's in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Or going to be in the Hall of Fame. He is an all-star player behind him.
Him and Bonds.
Yeah.
Didn't they? Yeah.
But you know what? It worked enough.
Yeah.
Thunder and lightning.
Yeah, that's whatever. Like, two big egos, two superstars. Like that's what happens.
Jeff Kent, I don't know what you think you're doing. I mean, you got Barry hitting 80 jacks. You're like, I think I might be better than him.
Y'all need to deal him.
But then
stay with me.
Out. Go ahead,
Hey, Jeff, get the fuck out of here, buddy.
But going back to LSU, dude, so we talked about the two guys. Then you got Trey Morgan, who
He's the one, right?
He's great.
He's the one.
He's got some great. He has unbelievable bat to ball. Cruz is the guy.
Is it?
The guy.
Okay.
But he's got unbelievable bat to ball skills. He was taking some balls in the outfield the other day when I was out there. Like he's moving around, which is good for him. But for me,
next level stuff you're talking about, versatility.
Yeah, being versatile because he's
the best
athletic.
First baseman I think I've ever
seen.
He's
great at first, right? But to be able to say, hey, I mean, look at what Cody Bellinger did. Cody Bellinger got to the big leagues, won the MVP as a first baseman, and now he plays center field. So, like, he's everywhere, right?
Five tool.
You know, and so, like, yeah, he has the ability to adjust and be athletic enough.
I mean, even Bregman to a degree, right? I mean, he was a catcher in high school, shortstop in college, third baseman.
Yeah. I mean, he's a utility. He could be a utility. He can play anywhere in the infield. He has the hands to be able to do that. But for me, the guy, now, like, Cade Doty is a junior, and he's gonna have a great year. No, we're only talking about the sophomores, but he's a high-rated junior in this draft class.
Junior list too?
There is a junior list. I don't know where the juniors are at, but that would be like that would go into the list of like top 100 draft prospects because these guys are getting drafted this year.
Okay.
But to me, the guy who I think is going to make the biggest jump from last year this year is Thompson.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's really good at shortstop.
Got a little pop.
And he's got some swag to him.
Yeah, he does.
You know,
he's got little Cali swag.
And he's got some juice.
Yeah.
And I think after that first year, he had some big moments, but he had some times where some guys kind of beat him.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to help him out a lot.
Yeah.
We talked a little bit about yesterday about how experience helps. And I think that experience of like kind of getting beat up a little bit sometimes and then having some of those big moments, he's going to be huge.
LSU shortstops is kind of like LSU DB. It's kind of like being the cornerback, the number one cornerback.
Center fielders, to be honest.
And a center fielder too. Yeah, for sure. And Thompson has kind of... He feels like an LSU shortstop. He feels like Bregman, Roberts.
Swag,
he's got all that. Yeah.
Now, the only one, the outlier of all those guys is Nola.
Yeah.
And to me...
But he was the purest.
And I'm biased. I think he was the best shortstop.
He had the best hands.
The best hands. He had an absolute cannon of an arm. And he's my best friend.
He's another versatile...
Yeah, I mean,
look
he
at
got
him.
moved to a catcher.
I know.
Now he's one of the better catchers in the game. So
y'all are best friends for real?
He was my roommate all through college.
Really? Aww.
Austin. So like he was my roommate as a freshman, and then we lived at his grandparents' old house. So like it was all of us. We were all, but summer ball we were still roommates. We would go summer ball together.
Oh wow.
So summer ball roommates, season roommates, road roommates.
Wow, coach.
Everything.
That's
and he was awesome, dude.
It's like working with your wife.
He's the best dude. But he's like, there was no arguments, no disagreements. Like,
really?
Yeah, dude. He was just. He's the.
Did
best.
y'all go to the Cape?
We were the same team in the Cape, and then we both went to the Team USA trials together. And then
what was the best summer league?
The Cape.
No doubt.
Yeah. Honestly, look, I loved playing for Team USA. Like that was. Our team was awesome, and I had a lot of fun with the guys that I played there. And it was
Did y'all win the world?
We got walked off by Cuba in the gold medal game. Yeah, Jose Abreu. the first baseman for the White Sox, walk off the rim.
Wow, he's
in the 10th inning.
Wow.
Yeah. But
are those wooden bat games?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah, and Cuba has their guy. Like it's not like you're just getting college guys. Like they have their their guys.
You're
guys,
going against pros.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You're going against Jonas Cespedes was on that team. Abreu was on that team. Gurriel was on that team.
Wow.
Like they had some dudes.
Wow.
And then
Air Gurriel.
Yeah. Yeah. And then but as far as like competition and as far as like playing the best of the best, talent-wise, the Cape, you can't beat the Cape.
I bet.
And it's fun, man.
It's a fun summer too, right? Like it's sun shining on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's just you're hanging out, you're playing baseball on the East Coast with people who love baseball.
Dude, what was that movie back in the day with
Summer Catch?
Summer Catch.
Yes.
Jessica Biel.
Dude, it was so great.
I tell you what,
no, it wasn't Jessica Biel. It was it Jessica Biel?
Yeah.
It was a
Jessica
young
Biel
Jessica
and,
Biel, and it was your boy with the hair.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
I can tell you
Freddie
this.
Prinze Jr.
Jessica
Married
Biel is-
Sarah Michelle Gellar, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jessica Biel's
he
not
did.
walking around the Cape. I can tell you. I looked for her. I looked for her.
No wagyu in the Cape.
She's not there. She's
No
not there.
Wagyu.
There's
No
some,
Kobe.
there's some there, but there's no
Kobe.
Jessica Biel. I can tell you that.
No Kobe
I can
beef.
tell you that. I looked for her.
That's good stuff. All right, appreciate everybody's interaction today, man. Good Friday show. That was appreciate Coach or Gordon McKernan stopping by.
You can be
Appreciate
coach.
You can be
why
coach.
not?
Why
Why
You
not?
pay enough. You could be
Yeah,
coach.
right.
Could be coach.
Representative
Paid the
John
other one enough.
Stefanski, he could be. If our coach drives a Ferrari, we're on the good team,
Yeah. The
boys.
good team.
We're on the winning team. And then Nathan Velasquez and Joey Molinaro. Good stuff for Mikey, for Katie, for Lloyd, for Dubes, for everybody here. Cheers to you on this
Yeah,
January
cheers,
14th.
y'all.
Thank you for the support. Make sure and hit the
Cheers.
like, share button. Remember on Monday, Mic'd Up with
Yes.
Mikey Matuk will be debuting here on the FM Digital Media Network.
Come and watch the shit show. That's gonna be me and Lloyd
It
and
is not going to be
Gosman.
a shit show.
Oh,
Make
but it's
sure-
gonna be fun. It's gonna be a fun shit show. That's what it's
Great.
It'll
about.
be controlled chaos.
Yes.
Make sure that we get the link to the YouTube channel
Yes,
that we
we
are
will.
pubbing out
Yeah.
on Jordy Culotta Show all weekend. So make sure that you follow the social media. And then tomorrow, Tailgate, Lot 105, Daniel Newman and Edward Jones will be there pre-tip-off of LSU Arkansas. I'm bringing 20 11-year-olds with me. You bring whoever you want with you. We will see you out there and boot up. We'll see you tomorrow
Boot
inside the
up.
Maravich Center. And everybody have a good Friday.
2011, they're only a year younger than I am. When they
2011?
graduate.
No,
And then
20 11-year-olds.
Oh, it's dangerous. Never mind.
Do your math there.
2011. I was still in
I always
college.
make it that.
Just hit the
way.
graphics,
Like,
why don't you?
Give me that champagne.
Shout out to the Golden Goose, man.
Yeah.
Shout out
to the Golden Goose.
to the Golden
Not
Goose.
the
This guy
cheese.
is a freaking
But Ryan.
monster.
Monster.
God,
He's probably
I can't
sleeping
wait.
right now.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Good, as he should be. Oh, y'all have a great weekend. Tailgate, tailgate, tailgate.
Like.
Like. Share, share, share.